Watch as I use a paper towel to help out with blending. Another alcohol ink basics. Hang on tight and I'll show you how to do it later. Hey everyone, I thought I would do another alcohol ink basics, and this time it's about removal and with using paper towels and blotting and blending and things like that. I ended up using this a lot with my piece, the dragon mandala that I did with Erica and Jen, and then I continued to work on the dragon on my own rate after that, but I used it a lot within the main dragon. So I thought I would share a little bit with how I did it, because I was playing around with the technique a little bit more and got a little bit more familiar with it, or did it my own way. So wanted to share. Anyway, it uses a very expensive tool. Paper towels. I think we all have them, or at least I hope so. Anyway, so what I end up doing a lot of times is I will fold up my paper towel over and over again, and you'll see me messing with the paper towel. What I'm looking for is a folded edge like this. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, that was folded just a couple times, so that's about 4 layers of paper basically. And what we're doing is we're creating a soft enough pad within the paper towel so that it can absorb some alcohol and also some of the ink as well. And then you can use that to either blend or remove. And then all I do is I simply just kind of open it back up and refold it in a different place, and then a different place, you know, as it's filling up with ink. Because maybe I'm working in an area that's green, and then I change to an area that's red, and I don't want the green to get in the red. So that's another reason for doing it. Or if it's removal and I've already removed a bunch of ink and I want to start off with a fresh area, that would be another way of doing it. But I'm also going to show you some other ways of, like, say if you removed a bunch of brown from one area and you go into another area that's pink, but you want to darken it up a little bit, you can use that brown area to add some brown to the pink area. So I'm going to show you a little bit of this about removal with blending and softening the edge, but also playing with the colors and adding color by just using the paper towel. So I just created a piece here, and I've got in here some greens. There's a little bit of lime in there, nice warm tones, browns and stuff. And there's also some getting more of a sagey kind of green. So that might be one of those things where if I add some browns to this and kind of earthen it up a little bit, that might be a way of transferring the color there, or even lightening up this. So I'm going to play with this and show you how I do it. So I'm getting some gloves on right now, and I have some of these little bottles that when Scarlett was playing with me one week, she ended up filling up one of these guys with alcohol ink, and I have found it to be really, really helpful when doing detailed stuff like this, because I'll add a couple of just drops to the edge of this. I mean, we're talking about, you know, an edge of a paper towel, and this little needle helps me get exactly what I want on this edge. So that's really, really helpful. And also it gives me a little bit of a precise needle if I want to apply it directly to my artwork as well. So, which I'm going to do first. All right, so one of the things that I did in my mandala piece, there we go, my words are coming out, is where my dragon shape was, in the background had a bunch of flame colors, but they were all like medium tones. Like the dragon's head was medium tones, the background was medium tones, and I wanted to lighten up the background a little bit around the head, so that it allowed the head to pop forward and it gives it a little bit of contrast. And so this is how I ended up doing that, by removing some of the color. So one of the ways I did it, let's see if I'm a little bit of a shadow there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Maybe that'll help. Okay, bring that down. Okay. I'll focus right in that zone here. Okay. One of the ways I did it is like simply by adding a drip to the zone. And then I would use my edge of the paper towel and I would kind of use it in a blotting motion and going back and forth. Now it does help to go multiple times over the area, and the reason for that is paper towel has texture to it. So we want to be mindful of the texture that we apply to here. And I was okay with it being a little rough. I just didn't want it to look like a definite paper towel had hit the zone. So what I'm going to do here is, see, I've got a lot of brown right here that I've removed from this spot. So I'm going to get a little fresh area here, and I'm going to still apply a drop right in the center, and then continue to work it around and lighten it up. And I definitely want to soften out that circle from the alcohol drop. And you can go as far out as you want, or just stay in that general zone. It's up to you. And you see I pulled off just a little bit more. It wasn't a lot more. And bring that in. Hopefully we will focus. And see how it leaves the softer edge, but you can also see a little bit of a texture. And if you don't want that texture, you may have to remove the ink in a different fashion. Like applying the ink, or I'm sorry, apply the alcohol, remove with this, apply a little bit more alcohol, and then blend it around with your heat gun or heat iron, however you want to work that out. That would be another way to do it, so that you can continue with this kind of a soft way of doing this. But I was wanting a kind of a painterly like look on my dragon, so that's why I did that. And that helped a lot. Now, I'm going to fold another area here, and I'm going to apply a couple drips to the blade of the paper, which is really tough to do when you're looking through the camera. Okay, so, okay, I've got this edge here. I'm trying to look for reasons I would do this, and I want to soften this edge. Now the cool thing about doing it on the blade of the paper is that, like, if it starts to, I guess, stop with removal or blending, and the amount of color you have on here is not too great, you can just simply add more alcohol to it. And it won't give you that big circle like it did before. Okay, now you see how I'm transferring brown here? Now, if I was okay with that and I wanted to incorporate brown, that would be fine. Another way of doing it would be just to fold, get another clean edge, apply a couple of drips. I'm so zoomed in, I gotta keep that in mind, be mindful of that. And then just keep on applying over here, and I can actually probably start removing some of that brown that I applied. So you can see how that can work for you in a different way. And then this one, let's see, focus. I think that's the biggest struggle of doing video work. Focus. Okay, so here I've got an overall area that I have blended by applying the alcohol directly to the edge of the paper. This is by applying it directly to the paper. You see how it works within a circle area? Or you could do a couple drips in a row, that kind of thing, but you definitely pull more ink off by dropping it directly to it, whereas here you can really control where you add it and manipulate your paper towel. Okay, let's see. Now, we've got this color here that was bright green, and let's say I want to earthen it up a little bit, add some brown to it. So I've got this one little area here that has brown that I have picked up from a previous area. So I'm going to apply some ink and see if I can activate it a little bit. And then just add a little bit of brown to this area here and earthen it up a little bit. So like that. Let's see, another way would be, let me get my trusty paper plate here. Okay, so I've got this paper plate that I've been using for my dragon mandala. It's got blues, purples, browns, even a little gold in there. And let's see, I can reactivate one of the colors. I think this was kind of a purpley brown. And let me get to a fresh area so you can see it. So I'm gonna fold this up. And then sometimes I just fold up the paper just to make it easier for me to hold, like that. So I've got a fresh naked zone. And then this area here, I just added a little bit of alcohol to it. So I'm gonna blot that over, pick up some color, and then continue working in this zone here. Let me get to focus again. Okay. And I add quite a bit of color, so it's gonna really go much darker. And you see how that's really getting dark. Now what I can do is add some alcohol to that. And it's either gonna pick up more ink or it's gonna help the color underneath blend a little bit. Okay, let's say I got enough brown there. Let's get to another fresh little zone here. Add some alcohol to that. I'm gonna add quite a bit of alcohol. Fold it up a little bit more so it's easier to deal with. And then use that blade again. Now this time it's just straight alcohol, so I'm gonna be doing more blending. And see how it gives it a different look there too. So those are some ways of just using a paper towel to add color, take away from color, and change and transform an area by doing a little bit of both. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. And let me bring you in for a close-up so you can see what this looks like. Okay, here we go. So this is kind of the overall colors I was working with. And then a reminder, this is a drip area here where I dropped alcohol into the spot, then used the paper towel to remove and blend out. This area here, I put alcohol on the blade of the paper towel and used it as a removal, or it was reducing that strong line and blending it out, and then add a little bit more alcohol in a fresh area to take off some of that extra brown there. And then this one, I took a brown and applied it to the bright green to earthen it up a little bit, or in other words, tone it down. And then got a fresh one, fresh fold, added some alcohol to it, and blotted that out to kind of blend it in a little more. So these are just different techniques to help you out manipulating the alcohol inks. Okay, so use these techniques as you will, and please share, that would be great. I'll see you guys around on the ATD Poor People group on Facebook. But hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, but more importantly, hit the bell to get notified when I put something up, because you never know. Later.